Hola, San Francisco. I'm so glad to be here. Let's talk about AI. AI is no longer a future promise. It is here. It's unlocking creativity, productivity, and innovation at a scale that we've never seen before. And every organization is asking the same questions. How do we turn AI into real differentiation? How do we actually get ROI from AI? And today, we're going to show you how Microsoft Foundry is the platform that empowers you to build AI-powered solutions for your most critical business needs. It's the one-stop shop for building and operating AI at scale, whether it is agents or applications in a secure, flexible, and enterprise-ready way. Now, Foundry is the platform for developers and engineers. Foundry isn't just one product, it's actually an integrated stack. From Foundry models to give you the best choice for the best models in the market without vendor locking. For Foundry agents for planning, retrieving, acting, and orchestrating. Foundry IQ for retrieval and knowledge. Foundry tools for action with over 1,400 connectors. And machine learning for model customization. Of course, we have all of that wrapped up in a control plane for governance and lifecycle management. No other platform brings all of these pieces together in a single and integrated way like Foundry does. Foundry seamlessly integrates across the Microsoft ecosystem for developers, across their favorite tools and the trusted enterprise systems. And because it's modular and interoperable, you have the choice to select the components you need and build without the fear of vendor lock-in, with native support for standards like MCP, A2A, and OpenTelemetry. Now, what sets Foundry apart from any other AI platform, it is its enterprise readiness. It is not just uptime, it's predictable performance with enterprise SLAs. It is not just security, it is identity, compliance, protection built in. It is not just flexibility, it's full control of your storage, your data, your search, your policies. It's advanced AI with model routing, content safety, context engineering, all integrated across the Microsoft Cloud. That is enterprise DNA in every layer. Foundry isn't just ready for business. It was built for it. And nothing demonstrates enterprise readiness like real-world adoption. Microsoft Foundry is already proven at scale. Foundry powers every single applied AI product that we built at Microsoft. And it's also already used by over 80,000 organizations that are delivering real impact and ROI. Okay, let's break down what makes Foundry the AI platform of choice. It is simple, it's trusted, and it's powerful. It's also the frame that we're going to use for our session today. Now, one of the hardest challenges on building with AI is curating the right context, and this is what Foundry IQ delivers. It's our new engine for automated context engineering, giving agents the right information securely and at scale. IQ connects across all of your enterprise data, whether it is structured data from SharePoint, from Fabric, from wikis, or unstructured data, I made a mistake there, from SharePoint or from the web. It goes beyond search and it plans queries, it decomposes them, it breaks them into complex questions, federates across data sets, and delivers permission-aware context. And with Purview and Enter integration, security and compliance are built in. Another capability of Foundry IQ is agent memory, and it enables agents to retain context across interactions and is partitioned for each user. Now, agents shouldn't just talk, they should act, and Foundry Tools helps transform agents from chatbots into operators. We provide a set of pre-built AI skills like speech, language translation, and more, and an additionally over 1,400 different connectors to services like SAP, ServiceNow, Workday, and without having to do any custom code. And if you need to connect to your own services, it is very easy to wrap any API as a tool using MCP or OpenAPI. I think we should do a quick pause here.
Yes.
I mean, number one, hello everybody.
Hello.
We're back.
We promised you surprises, and so here we are.
And we're in the audience now, which is great because I actually didn't get to go to Ignite this year, unfortunately.
Same.
And so I'm here.
Yes.
But I think something that I really like about what Yin is talking about here is how Foundry is not a one-size-fits-all, but it is a one-stop shop.
Yes. And I think that's what's important. Like when she's talking about, Foundry IQ, being able to connect to all of your different data sources, no matter where they are, and being able to then use that context in service of your agents, as well as being able to have memory, right?
Exactly.
Which is so important, because how many times do you have, like, I don't know about you, I have like a whole file of just prompts that I've saved that I use over and over again. And
Yeah.
being able to have that type of thing built into your point, being a one-stop shop, not one size fits all, I think is really, really cool.
Exactly. Like, how can we make this systematic? Like, it's no longer just AI is not just a chatbot that we want to talk to and get answers from. We
Right.
really need a whole system in place, especially when we're talking about enterprises and bigger businesses. Like, how can we coordinate our agents? How can we make this whole system work and work securely as well?
Yeah, and I think that's actually maybe a great point to unpress pause and continue on with the talk.
Okay, we talked about how simple it is to get started. Now, let's go to our next chapter. AI without trust is a liability. Foundry makes trust foundational, not an afterthought. And to show you, let's welcome Sarah Ver to the stage.
As you heard in the keynote, building trustworthy AI is a team sport. Everyone has a role to play. IT ensures clear access and identity controls. Security addresses new and evolving threats. And developers build and maintain AI systems that are safe and secure. But what it means to do this is changing. So let's double-click on the emerging role for developers and what they need to do to build trustworthy AI systems. There are 4 essential pieces we find for building trustworthy AI systems. The first is controls, including runtime guardrails. The second, observability, enables us to understand system behavior before and after deployment. The third, security, integrates key security primitives like identity and threat detection. And remember, this isn't about building a single agent. It's about managing at scale across your entire AI estate. That's why we're introducing Foundry Control Plane that gives developers the tools to build trustworthy AI. As a builder who's worked in AI for a long time, I'm thrilled to have a one-stop shop that lets me build with confidence, knowing that trust is built in from the beginning. You heard Yina talk about the service agent, connecting powerful external knowledge like Bing with internal knowledge bases like SharePoint, so the agent can answer questions with the right context. But as this agent moves across internal and external boundaries, you need to inspect content so that tools prevent risk from entering into your system. You need to protect sensitive data from leaking out, and you need to keep agents on task. I want to make sure that my agent is always working as expected, not just staying in boundaries, but high quality with great relevance. And that's where observability comes in. Using Foundry, developers can evaluate and monitor agents to ensure quality and safety before and after deployment. I mentioned at the beginning of this talk that trust is a team sport, and developers can't do this alone. We need security. So we've built on foundational security practices like identity management, threat detection, and response. And Foundry makes this teamwork seamless by integrating security tools directly into the developer environment.
I think we should put an exclamation point there.
Yes.
I think security is so important, and especially in this evolving landscape.
Mhm.
How can you maintain and keep those practices up across the software development lifecycle?
Right. And as Sarah pointed out, like, things are changing, right? Like what we used to do, even 5 years ago is different. Even 2 years ago
Yeah.
is different than what we're doing now, right? Because the adoption of agents has taken off. So many people are building them. We're building them. We're getting the tools to do that. But there do come some inherent security risks if you're introducing those tools into your system. And so having, again, like to Sarah's point, like having like a one-stop shop where you have the ability to evaluate, are these secure, to look at what the rules are, to be able to make sure that agents, to her point, you're observing, are they effective or not? I think is really important, because we all have to think about this. It's great to have these agents have them do these things, but if you're going to be using them with real data, especially with customer data, you really need to make sure that they are secure and that they're acting the way that they should.
And like, as a particular emphasis on what you were just saying, I think one thing to think about here is it's not just things that we're arbitrarily like, oh, we need security here and here. These are things that internally our teams need. Like we have a lot of big products as well. We need to make sure those are secure all along the way, and just extending that security to our customers as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. What I love about like working at like GitHub and Microsoft, like we actually use the tools that we build.
Yeah.
And we have the same problems that you're running into. And so many times you see the solutions that are coming up with whatever things that, you know, we're trying to face ourselves. So I love the fact that security is actually here. And this is something I know a lot of developers, we haven't always had to think about this, but we now do. And you know, as easy as we can make that as possible, important though to just keep that in mind. We've got to focus on this.
Yeah, keep it in mind. But let's kick it back to Ina now.
Yeah.
Now let's welcome back Ina.
Alrighty. We saw trusted. Now let's go to powerful. Powerful means choice without locking, agents that can actually operate, and integration from code all the way to production. And I'm going to show you and highlight 3 things that make Foundry a powerful platform. The first one is models. Foundry gives you the freedom of choice. Over 11,000 models, frontier, specialized, industry, open, all available through a single unified API. Without any model locking. And of course, if a better model emerges, you switch instantly. No code review, no code rewrites. That's like really future-proofing AI. As I talk to customers, a common question that I hear is, how do I pick the best model? Not every prompt needs the most expensive model. Model Router is there for the rescue. It evaluates each request in real time and then selects the best model based on the prompt, whether it's an OpenAI model, an Anthropic model, OSS model, or specialized models without changing your app code. Customers like Proficient, a global digital consultancy company, have already achieved over 85% reduction on latency and 15% improvement on quality using Model Router. And as you would expect, governance is built in with all of the data boundaries, safety policies, and audit trails by default. Now, when you need a custom edge, we offer fine-tuning with supervised fine-tuning, direct preference optimization, reinforcement learning, plus new synthetic data generation capabilities so that you can get it done in hours and not in weeks. And with our developer tier, you can tap into idle capacity and cut your training costs in half. Now, when you need AI closer to the edge, Foundry Local enables you to build and run powerful and secure, cost-efficient AI apps directly on devices. In addition to Windows and Mac, Foundry Local is now supporting Android in private preview. Next up, let's talk about agents. Foundry Agent Service is Azure-backed runtime to build, host, and scale agents. I'm excited to announce that we're bringing new capabilities like built-in memory, multi-agent workflows, and hosted agents with observability, guardrails, and SLAs baked into the agent service. This means that if you've built agents in a framework like, for example, LangGraph, now you can host all of your agents in Foundry and get evals, observability, and control. Speaking of frameworks, if you need code-level control, Microsoft Agent Framework is the open source framework that we have that is production ready. It runs anywhere and then snaps into the agent service for hosting, telemetry, and governance. Provides identity and flows identity through with Purview and Entra integration. So trust travels with your agent. Being at the frontier means giving AI developers the tools they need to have in order to build the latest with AI. And to show you what that looks like, I'm going to invite Amanda Silver to the stage.
Okay, so before we get to Amanda, who's going to be awesome, I know it, I want to talk a little bit about what we were just seeing here. I love having the model choice, right? I mean, I think that that's really important. And be able to have, again, like one API, if you need to switch it out for something else, being able to do that with one click, that's really powerful. That's awesome.
The thing that really spoke to me as well is just having this tooling to help you choose the right model.
Yes.
I think at every level, that's something I'm hearing from developers. Like, how do I know whether I should be using this model or this model? I think just having the tool in place to help you with that choice, and then the fine tuning on top of that.
No, I fully agree, because like you, that's probably one of the most asked questions I get is like, Christina, like, what model should I be using? And I'm like, well, that depends on the task. And to this point, if you can, not every prompt is, as she said, is going to be the same. So being able to evaluate that is really powerful.
Especially as new models are coming out.
Well, that's the thing, right? Literally every week, if not, more than that, a new model comes out. And yeah, you want to evaluate it, and being able to do that in the same tool where you're also, building your agents and you're deploying things, that's awesome.
Exactly. Getting the right one and then kind of a plug and play situation.
Yeah,
it just works.
It just works, and then having the ability to, okay, let's try our product with it. Is this better or not? If it's not, go back, right? But it's not going to take a lot of code changes. It's just literally something you can select.
Exactly. And one quick shout out I want to make is on this YouTube channel, on the Microsoft Developer channel, there's a ton of training on how to use these tools as well. So if you're watching this like, that sounds great, I want to try this out, check that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got great playlists. We've got a lot of great content. So please continue to check out the Microsoft Developer channel.
Yeah.
Now on to, we should watch Amanda.
Yeah, I think we should.
Thank you, Ina. Hello, Ignite. All right. So for developers who live in code, I want to break this down for you. AI agents aren't just apps. They play by different rules. Traditional apps are built with procedural logic. They require manual updates and they have rigid steps. And you have to be really explicit with the infrastructure. But AI agents are adaptive by design, and they work on probabilistic models that reason and plan and adapt. And developers instead focus on intent and signals loops and guardrails, not just endpoints. Building them requires orchestration, not just code. So we built the AI Toolkit for VS Code to bring Foundry's power into your workflow. Inside your code editor, you can use natural language to explore and compare models. You can build agents and multi-agent workflows targeting Foundry. You can add observability with traces, telemetry, and eval hooks. And you can evaluate response quality and apply guardrails through your deployment. Great agents, they really need great data. So the toolkit also includes Jupyter notebooks and data prep tools to keep data sets, models, and evaluations aligned from the start. And together, this creates an AI-first development loop. So you can discover and test models as you're building. You can author agents and workflows and evals with GitHub Copilot. You can trace, debug, and evaluate with professional tools and deploy directly to Foundry's hosted agents orchestration layer, all within one Visual Studio Code experience. So Foundry has all of these great capabilities that you are now available in your developer tools, but it also really gives developers the freedom to innovate. It's backed by our enterprise scale, security, and governance that we have in our Azure services. And that allows you to bring your business context that you're already using into these agents with 1,400 connectors that are supported by logic apps that you already know and trust that can allow you to integrate SAP and Salesforce and Dynamics 365 and more. And you can build and scale these multi-agent apps on secure serverless foundations using Azure Container Apps, durable functions, and that allows you to also have freedom in terms of the frameworks that you want to use. So you can use LangChain and Crew AI and LangGraph and Llama Index, as well as Microsoft's agent framework. You can also extend these capabilities the agentic capabilities in an API-first way. So using functions and API management, it makes it really easy to take any API and make it into a reusable MCP tool that your agents are capable of calling. And we also have centralized governance so that you can use API management and the Foundry control plane for unified policies across all of your developers so that you can have curation and visibility and cost control. This really delivers the innovation for developers that we're all looking for. We just want to have the freedom to be able to create something cool, but it also gives the enterprise governance without any kind of compromise. With all of this, the craft of software development is evolving, from typing code to articulating intent. And when your source of truth is what you want to build, not just how it's written, AI becomes an amplifier. Developers evolve into orchestrators, designing specs, guiding agents, and validating the outcomes. It's not less creative, it's actually more creative. You spend less time wrestling with the scaffolding and the operations, and more time focusing on the ideas that matter to you and your organization. Developers are the ones that build the future. So with AI, we can build it faster, better, and it's going to be a lot more fun.
and it's going to be a lot more fun.
It is going to be a lot more fun. No, I love that. And I love her jacket. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I love
of
it.
course. Always. She never misses.
She never misses. So yay. Thank you, Amanda. You're the best. No, but also I really love like at the end, you know, she mentioned that like this isn't making developers less creative, it's making you more creative. I think that's a really good framing for how things are evolving and what the role of developers is, it's evolving. But developers are still, as she said, going to power the future.
Completely. And I think that's a big thing that we're learning on our side as well, is just the way that we're developing is changing.
Yes.
As it always has, as it always does. But you know, we're learning together, we're training, we're building tools to make it the best experience possible and make it the most powerful experience possible. But to your point, it's still, you have that essence of I am building this thing, and at the end of the day, I'm going to have that, and I'm going to get to work on it and maintain it, and I think that's great.
No, I do too. I do too. And I don't know about you with your workflow. I've been using, you know, agents so much over the last year. And it really is interesting to think about like what my role is in a lot of things, because a lot of times the code, I'll do the review and be like, this looks good, right? Maybe make some changes or maybe, you know, ask the agent to do something differently. But the role that I have and how I have to think about how I'm building my projects and what the architecture looks like and whatnot, and maybe what solutions I need to come up with, it's still there, and that's still important. It almost like itches like a different part of my brain. It's pretty fun.
And honestly, at a smaller scale, maybe this is a little bit selfishly, I love that we now also have ways to reduce that toil of saying, oh, let me assign this thing, not excited about it, let me send it over to the coding agent.
Right.
And now it can take care of that. I can be a reviewer in that context or an operator and just really make sure things are going okay, but I can focus on something I'd rather be doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love, you know, what's so cool about Foundry is that, you know, as we keep saying, like it's one place that kind of brings all this together.
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful and something that is great to see all the different opportunities that are there.
And like for anyone, I think the cool thing about Foundry, which you don't always get to see in every context, is the enterprise proofing of it all. Like, you know, as at different business sizes, this is a tool that can really adapt with you securely and scale.
Yeah. No, which is really important because, you know, it's great for like me when I'm doing my hobbyist stuff to be able to do this, but we are increasingly seeing this be adopted more and more businesses, and we need to see it adopted more. And the best way to do this is to make sure that it's secure and it can be observable.
Exactly. And this was just a small taste from Yina, Sarah, Amanda. We have a lot more Foundry to get into today.
We do. Actually, coming up, like our next session is actually going to be, I think, like a kind of a how-to with automation using Foundry that Sean Henry's going to do.
Exactly.